In this presentation, I'll discuss Henry Hobson Richardson's impact on American architecture. Richardson went to school in France where he studied French and English architecture and learned French proportions. When returning to America, he mixed these English and French designs for his windows and towers. Richardson wanted to focus on the English style of showing the wall structure while also using French ornaments. This led him to a design of Roman arches that were decorated, but also fed directly into the support pillars to give the idea that the arches were important to the structural integrity of the building. This new style he developed can be seen here on the front of Trinity Church in Boston, which is his main major work after his return to the United States. Right before his death, he created 3 new buildings in Chicago. These buildings would also include arches and other Roman elements that he had developed in his previous works and would influence designers in Chicago like Louis Sullivan and Frank Lloyd Wright. The Glessner House in Chicago, as pictured here, also was influential because of its design of having a courtyard in the center, which influenced design of larger houses in major cities in the United States. One of the main architects Richardson influenced was Louis Sullivan. On the left is the Field Wholesale Store in Chicago, built by Richardson, and it was one of the main buildings that influenced Sullivan. Sullivan went through a 5 to 6 year stretch in the 1880s where most of his works were based on those of Richardson. Here you can see the similar arches and the more blank facade, which was a change for Sullivan at the time. Sullivan did use newer materials like steel in his buildings, which Richardson never had the opportunity to use, as he used more stone in almost all of his builds. Another architect that Richardson influenced was Frank Lloyd Wright, who was Sullivan's student at the time. Wright was influenced by the same sort of design elements that they found to be important in Richardson's work, such as the arches and the more minimalist design. But he also took some inspiration from design plans from the Glessner House and some of his own houses. And here we can see the Morris Gift Shop, which was directly influenced by the Glessner House as arch entrance. Overall, Richardson created a new architecture that really defined an American style and influenced Sullivan and Wright to create a more modern design. He didn't get to utilize new technologies before his death, but did cement arches and Roman elements into part of American architecture and influenced 2 of the more influential architects of the next century as well.